probably the place where new friends are at their most vulnerable would be when they first embark on their awareness processes, the first tentative steps. Vulnerable in regards to attacks and so forth, especially on the real side. This is to be expected, and I certainly have experienced my fair share, and it is a constant feature of the process. For the ultimate objective of the reptilian controllers is to keep everyone in creation as their slaves. They can, of course, only do this if we agree to remain as such, as the deciders of our experience. Nothing can impose upon it without agreement. For the great swathes of the unconscious unaware, the reptilians already have them locked down and controlled, so will generally leave them be. Not that being in such a controlled position affords one safety, for agreement to the reptilians remaining with the personal self, which is subconsciously programmed into subservience, potentially has all that do at the mercy of those they have surrendered power to, and at any moment such individuals can be tortured, eliminated, eaten, depending on the whims of the controllers. Only through the real awareness and superseding the minefield of creation can one ever be truly safe. And indeed, as we become more aware, we more so step into our real beingness, that is aside from creation, and as such, nothing creationally based can touch us. Real awareness is then automatic protection, but naturally the recognition of the real awareness and the continual standing in it more so than the limited personal self is a process. We gradually become better adept at handling ourselves and dealing with any situation on the real side, as we become more aware, therefore, to the extent where we don't even need to handle anything. We just walk around creation altogether, aside from the ideas and creations that can present as obstacles and attacks. Of course, then, when our process begins, when we are at our initial stages, we are very much operating almost entirely from the personal self, though evidently ready for the journey, or the guides would not have prompted our real awareness on the real side, and it filter successfully through to the personal self. But this is where the vulnerability lies, at these initial early stages, where awareness and the protection that comes with it is lacking. The dark forces will know that this is the time to strike, to put people off from the start, to discourage and dissuade at a time when the individual will be less capable. And I have experienced this on my process also. I certainly received quite a battering on the real side until I began to be able to handle myself better through my real awareness. Indeed, there was one individual that attacked me in my early stages on the real side, and although unable to defend myself, at a later date I would encounter the exact same character again, and this time he was unable to impose upon me. Of course, the real guides are never far away. They watch over their own. They keep an eye on everyone who is sincere to break the shackles of their personal self, creational bubbles of illusory reality confinement. So where real awareness, recognition, and standing is lacking, the guides will step in where necessary and protect those deciding to become more aware, although there are great lessons to be learned in dealing with our own abrasive situations, for after all, as the deciders of our experience, we created the circumstances by which any and all attacks can take place, and so we begin to realize this cause and effect principle, and ought endeavour to take more responsibility for our thoughts, emotions, and where our focus and attention lies. And if the dark forces do attack us, they have racked up karmic debt for themselves. Another reason why the guides will stand back and let such attacks play out. For now, the guides have leverage to work with. They even can hurl the dark force attacker into the phantom zone where appropriate. A realm of nothingness, a place where the most abrasive are placed, where they can create nothing, and again, they would have decided this for themselves, based on their decided actions. One other tactic the guides will employ involves cloaking the individual whose process has just begun in such a way on the real side that the dark forces cannot detect that said individual is doing anything that would suggest their process of recognition is underway. The dark forces either have very little awareness or none at all. Anything then of a real awareness nature on the real side, they will be unable to recognize and perceive. For real awareness activity requires real awareness to see, as it is a reality aside from creation and the personal self-perception. The guides then will veil the activities on the real side in a kind of cloak of isness, that the individuals, especially in their vulnerable, rudimentary stages of awareness, will go under the limited personal self-radar of the awareness lacking dark forces, and more likely then the individuals will be left alone and unmolested.